It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Mashaba is a child of God, a worshipper, a minister, and a gospel singing sensation. The sound checks this morning have been truly magical. Her love and her passion for music started at a very tender age in a home village in the Limpopo Province, and today she is a very well established and well-loved gospel recording artist. Mobagona is here to chat about how she is starting the year off on a very positive and a hopeful note with her latest single, Mobagona, which she'll be performing a little bit later as part of our Gospel Monday celebration. You sound phenomenal. I cannot wait for your performances. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. You are a ray of light. I'm loving what you are wearing. Your sound check is amazing. We've been teasing our viewers of what to expect. But for people that don't know where your journey started, where your love for music came from, do you mind giving us a little insight to that?
Okay, so I'm a PK, what they call a PK pastor's kid. I grew up in the church. And so it's sort of something that I was eventually expected to do. But I fell in love with it. My mother is a singer, and she's a worshiper, so I basically just loved seeing her pouring her heart before God and loving God, loving to serve the people in the church. And that just made me really want to do this thing that she's doing. It just looked so amazing. Funny enough, I didn't even know if I could sing or not. She kept pushing and pushing. And next thing I know, I'm actually in the choir. I'm leading the choir. She's taking a back seat now, and the rest is history. I really just love God, and I love to worship God.
That's beautiful.
It must be such a joy to be able to express, and yes, you obviously have to have considerable talent to be able to let yourself go in that space. Could you have done anything else? Was this always written in the stars for you?
Look, I didn't think I had what it took to do it, so I did study something on the side. Funny enough, it's sort of an option that I had to take, a second option, because I couldn't
Plan
do
B,
what,
yeah.
Yes. But it's something I love. I'm into communications and events, so it's something that I do on the side. But something that just keeps calling me back is worship. I mean, there was a time I did it and I thought, no, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. And there would just be these great songs that God would wake me up at night, you know, that's how I get my songs. So, and I'd be like, yo, where should this one go, you know? So I think that it's sort of in the plan of God for me, because I try to run away from it, pushing events and all. But there's no place like being in the presence of God and being able to just pour your heart before God, and also getting an audience that actually receives that. That's just so amazing.
And now you have to sleep with a pen and paper next to your bed.
and a recorder, hey?
He speaks to you through your dreams.
Yeah.
I love that. And I know you said you grew up in the church. You're what you label yourself, a PK, a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
I know that doing outreach drives are also very important. Do you mind shedding some light on the Pour Out Worship Jesus Outreach Drive?
Okay, so this is my third album. We've titled it, it's sort of a journey or a documentary. We call it the Pour Out Worship Encounter. And what we've done is that we started in Pretoria, where I'm based, and we went sort of around the country. We've not come here to Cape Town as yet, but we would have loved to do it. So we went to Pretoria, we went down to my hometown in Begersfort, and we went to Polokwane. And God just opened the door for us to go to Kimberley. There's a small community there called Bloemfontein, where you've got your koi stands, as they are called. And we were just intrigued by their way of life. We thought, yo, these people. But one thing we picked up as we were going around that place is that they had a need. There was a lot of impoverished people or homes there. And we thought, how can we assist? Is there a way that we can give back? So what we did is we went back there with food parcels, and we had an outreach at their community showgrounds. And they came out, we were giving out food parcels to the families. And there was even an outreach drive at the time, because they had a lot of gender-based violence there. And it was, at the time, there was a kid that was missing. Oh. And it was so overwhelming. I couldn't hold myself. So we sort of pushed the drive to also focus on this child. I think she was called Melissa. They couldn't find her for a long time, and the community came out to try and find her. When they did find her, obviously she was long gone, but it was a gender-based violence, a gruesome one. And
The South African narrative.
yeah, it was so heartbreaking. But what I loved is that the people there were just so open to God, and their hearts are just, they love God. To this day, they follow me. If I have a show anywhere, they want to know, can we come? It was just so amazing. And the funny thing is that we didn't necessarily understand each other because it's a language that I'm not very exposed to. But somehow they were just responding very well, and that was heartwarming for
The
me.
language
Also
of love.
Seek comfort from the Word of God.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to share a little bit of your story and
you for
your
having me.
considerable talent with us this morning. We are so looking forward to all of your performances. I know Mobagona is going to be the big crescendo at the end of the show, but we're going to send you off to our performance area right now.